Hey guys, welcome back to the Don Drysdale channel. And I was looking to stay up and current on the happenings over at Black Tusk, and I stumbled across an article created by Polygon and Brian Placente. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to read the entire article. I'm gonna paraphrase this thing. There's a couple of great snippets out of here where they drop hints of what is going on and what they're going to do. They don't. Fergusson doesn't come out and say what he's going to do. He's not allowed to do that, but he does drop subtle little hints and the actions that he's taken in the steps of being involved with Black Tusk Studios, his training methods, I guess. Gives a lot of indications of what they're going to go back to in Gears. It starts off the article, it tells where they met, where they conducted the interview, how he went full circle from starting at Epic, going around through Irrational Games and Bioshock Infinite, and then coming back to Gears of War and Black Tusk when Microsoft bought him out. It asks him why he left Epic, and it basically says what we knew all the time. They didn't like the new Tencent Publishing buying almost half of Epic Games, and they were going in the direction of free-to-play and budget titles. And Fergusson basically said that he didn't want to do that. He wanted to be involved in big-budget AAA titles, and that's the reason why he left, along with see a guy's name here, Blazinski and him, and there's another guy that used to be one of the lead designers that left there at the same time that they did. It also goes into it then found out that Black Tusk was taking over, and it was owned by Microsoft, the IP for Gears of War. And it's going to be a dream job for him. He gets to let him work on a big budget title, again a AAA title. It's something that has some longevity in his eyes, and it really gets down about halfway through the article. It gets into the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to talk about. It says that Black Tusk isn't starting from scratch. They had years 1 through 4. I say 1 through 3. He says 1 through 4, but I'm not going to argue with the guy. It says that he had a whole lot of information and ideas from when he was working for Epic, and he brought those back with him. And he starts talking about the crevices and the niches and the gaps in between 1 through 4 that weren't fully filled in or explained on, and he really they wanted to keep the mystery up in Gears. And he believes that there's a whole lot of room for expansion in those gaps. It doesn't take a full-on, none of the Gears take a full-on life look at the past 3 years of Marcus Phoenix or Baron or Cole or anything like that. It just takes out a week's worth of excerpts for the campaign, or a couple days out of the campaign. And he says that Pendulum Wars and all that stuff is pretty much open territory for them to expand into. He really didn't allude anything till after Gears 3, when all the locusts were eliminated. He talked more about the gaps in there, and I think that that's a key little hint of what we think is going to be, what I think is going to be coming down the pipeline. They'll either do a pre-Gears 1, or they're going to fill in some gaps like they tried to do with Judgment here. He talks here, this is Fergusson talking. I brought with me the work that I had done before, so that's the starting point for us. Thinking about what we can do, he said. It's definitely a lot of information that I had. What we had been working on with Gears could become, and still become, when I was with Epic. There's no reason to start from scratch, so let's just talk about the things that I've already been thinking about. So he just had some creative ideas even back then. that he wanted to point the direction. Well, basically, he's got the helm on Black Tusk, it seems like, and he can point the ship any which way he wants, which I think it's pretty damn good hand. He alludes to 1 through 3 and 1 through 4, a whole bunch of developers working on Gears of War, and how it kind of deviated a little bit from the path because so many people got involved and want to express their own ideas of what Gears should be, and I guess he didn't like that very much, and I didn't either. So since arriving, Fergusson has been giving briefings on handling philosophies, pillars, and communicating the game to players. He has brought in some epic people like senior designer Jim Brown, and for him to spend a few days talking about what it's like and what it means to design levels for Gears of War. I hope he means maps and the layout and the old school, which I love, and if you're a follower of this channel, you do too. Since selling the franchise, Microsoft and Epic has been very supportive of Black Tusk, Ferguson said. I think that they're really happy that Gears is back with me, he said. I can make sure that our baby gets taken care of. Epic's glad that Gears is back where it belongs, with a guy that's put in some time and some tenure. And then we have the relationship with the engine as well that's going to drive this thing. And they want the engine to do well because they've invested their time into it as well. He also mentions a couple other things. So for him, it was staying true to Gears as opposed to fundamentally changing the game. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to change it creatively, more eye candy, I guess, more ways and different ways of doing things that doesn't change things in his mind. And the terms of the pillars that he was talking about are things like the cover system, the quick load or quick reload, the combat. Those likely won't be messed with by Black Tusk, at least intentionally. They won't be touched. So there's things that are uniquely Gears, and you have to double down on the things that are uniquely Gears. I agree with that. I said that several times. And this is a way to be more contemporary with the mechanics, and they're going to find their way into the next generation of Gears. That's great news. He talks about the people that he's brought on board a little bit, how many people work at the studio. It says there's 150 there, ranging from several all across the globe. They pulled in a couple guys from EA's Radical, Black Box, and Crytek, and a mix from people from all over the planet that are going to help build Gears of War. A couple of Gears of War guys. That lead designer, like I mentioned before, is a really big deal. And getting down here into the bottom part of this article, Ferguson says that him doing this is a long-term commitment. He's not really interested in bouncing around to big budget titles and going from place to place to place. It was kind of wearing on him, and he wanted to settle in a little bit, I guess. He says that I think it needs a little bit of freshening up. I think you have to make something current. So I think that there's room for improvement there. And there's no reason why Gears has to be a short-lived game. It could be something that could be played over multiple titles. It can be expanded on and explored on. And he says to treat Gears with the respect that it's earned and it deserves, because it's created several things that games have copied. Your cover system, the way that your loadouts, things like that other games use and directly feed off. So he says that Gears is a well-established game, and people can learn from looking at Gears of War on how to design games and staying true to the core values of the game. The last little bitty paragraph that's on here says that Fergusson is so convinced that Gears of War is going to be a great game and a long-lasting franchise that he's moving his family up to Vancouver, and is going to get a home up there. I think that's what it says here. Fergusson has spent 4 months commuting, hopping back and forth every other Monday on flights, and returning home the same way every other Friday. He says Vancouver's a great place. I'm sure that it is, but the things that you got to take out of this is the core values of Gears. You got to take out that he has been having conferences on, hey, this is what we need to focus on. This is what made Gears popular. Bringing it back a designer like Jim Brown, which helped do the Gears before that, is another key point that I want to point out. And that he seems vested in keeping Gears and staying with the Gears core reality and not trying to change it and redo it and turn something into what it's not. Pick this article up again. It's on the web. You can pick it up really easy. Just go to it's Polygone, and this is Brian Cricante. I hope I said that right. If you're watching this and I pronounced the dude's name wrong, I apologize, but I'll leave the link in the description. Drop me a like. I hope that you found some useful information about this, but like I said, this is about a 10-minute read, but it's a good read if you care about Gears of War. Thanks for sticking around and listening to me talk about this. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you guys later.
He's dead. There he is, right there. He's on our right side. It did though.
Enemy forces! Spotted!
Oh.
Target my mark!
Right.
Human spotted!
Throwing smoke! You want this?
Human spotted! Behind me!
Bring your ass to
Behind you. Brutal. Yeah. Behind you. Our side.
Ooh, fail.
incoming smoke!
Gotta be down over there too.
Watch this snipe, guys.
Oh, he is?
Somebody help me! Get up and fight!
Oh, crap. Wow, that was
Target my mark!
Mark snipe. Over there.
Let me grab ours.
Excellent!
hard aiming that. Snipe right next to you, Spoon. Right where I just died. Yeah, there it is. That's not gonna work for them. Don't push it. Take it all out.
Incoming smoke!
Revive me!
Revive me!
Yes, Marcus. You have done as I commanded.